always lit over at AJsRANTroom.com. We got the best bags and accessories, our beloved Black Series. We got fresh lids for you hat lovers, fire jackets and hoodies, and of course we got you covered on the t-shirts. And introducing our first shoe line, Aloysius Germain. So get on over to AJsRANTroom.com today and get to shopping. You won't be disappointed. I want to live, I want to love, but it's a long, hard road out of hell. I want to live, I want to love, but it's a long, hard road out of hell. Happy hump day, everybody. Yeah. Little Marilyn Manson to get you started. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Are we good in these streets? Let's check the hat. All right, cool. Can you hear me? Can you see me? How do everybody? How do? How you gonna say yes? You hear me and see me, and you didn't. I didn't even come on the air yet. Um, thank you, Amy. Appreciate it. Okay, cool. So we got a stack show today. We're gonna talk about the animal that tried to assassinate Trump. Obviously, that was the title. That's the title of the show. So we'll talk about him at the end. Then we'll talk about YouTube reinstating people after they censored them for years and mess with their money. And I hope people sue because you owe people a lot of money. You messing with people's coins, you mess with their livelihood. People put a lot of time into this. Like, I don't think people understand how much time goes into these things, right? When you really take it seriously. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Jimmy Kimmel's return to whatever TV. We'll also talk about Kamala Harris and her appearance on The View yesterday, and then also her endorsement of the socialist sand nigga. So we'll go over that. But first, let's start with some terrible news. So this morning, somebody decided to be dumb and went and shot up an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas. Now, this wasn't a detention center. This was, I think, it was like a place where they register people or something like that. But it wasn't a detention center. But they believe it's a sniper, and it's an unfolding story. So as of 11:36, this is what we know. One victim is dead and at least 2 injured, and it's just an awful scene all around. The FBI investigating the shooting as an act of targeted violence. The deadly shooting at an ICE facility near downtown Dallas is believed to be a targeted incident, according to the head of FBI of the FBI field office in Dallas. Quote, "I can confirm at this time that the FBI is investigating this incident as an act of targeted violence," said Special Agent in charge Joe Rothrock. Quote, "Early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contains messages that are anti-ICE in nature." The FBI did not provide further details on what was written on the ammunition. Like, I'm gonna just shut up. No law enforcement officers were injured in the shooting, FBI officials said. None of the people shot in this morning's shooting at a Dallas ICE facility were members of law enforcement. FBI Dallas Special Agent in charge Joe Rothberg said, though officials are not yet confirming the identity of the victims. Quote, "This will be an ongoing investigation between us, a number of federal partners, and our local partners, again, to ensure that anyone responsible is held accountable." Now, this is the part that a lot of us fall short on. Well, not me most of the time. But let's be patient and remain calm. Dallas Mayor urges the community. Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson asked people to be patient and remain calm as law enforcement conduct the investigation into Wednesday's shooting at an ICE and Customs Enforcement facility in Dallas, Texas. Quote, "This is an active investigation. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and I want to encourage all of you to exercise a little bit of restraint and allow them to do their job to help make sure this continues to be a safe city and that they can help us figure out what happened here today." So this is obviously an ongoing investigation. It's still fresh in the ether, and so I'm not going to make any assumptions. I don't do that, but I'm pretty sure Harry Sisson by now has called him MAGA. Um, I'm pretty sure there's 14,000 videos on TikTok at this point saying the shooter was MAGA, because he didn't hit law enforcement. So I don't care if you hit law enforcement. I don't care if you hit detainees. I don't care if you hit illegal. I don't care. You shouldn't do it. That's the bigger message here. Don't be a dummy, right? Why are you sniping an ICE facility? Like, I don't give a damn. What? Again, I don't know. I guess I will be saying this until I'm gone, right? I don't give a damn who you voted for, what you supported, what you like. I don't care. Once you cross the line, I'm done. We're done. Your life means nothing to me, you know, and I'm never gonna change on that. You mean nothing to me. Yes, you should have due process and all of that cute stuff. But in terms of you, the person, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a damn what your life was. I don't give a damn if you voted Republican your whole life. I don't care. Once you cross the line, it's over. It's done. I don't care. I'm not associating with you. But prayers to the people who were injured, regardless of whether they're documented, undocumented. They should not be shot by a sniper while they're being processed, if that is the case. And the idiot didn't even hit the people he wanted to hit. He hit the actual people he were, quote, trying to stand for, according to the bullets, the cases that were found at the scene. But I'm just sick and tired of it. And this is also the second shooting, because remember the other shooting at the another Texas facility, not was it 2 months ago, maybe? But in Alvarado, I think it was. Uh, This ain't the answer, people, but these animals running around here acting like Donald Trump is just ruining their lives. Your lives was fucked up long before Donald Trump became president. Your life was shit long before Donald Trump was ever elected president. You were a piece of shit long before that happened. I'm just going to make that clear. So thinking that whoever is sitting in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is somehow the barometer for whether you have a good or a bad life, that's pretty pathetic. That's pretty pathetic. And you should probably go figure that out. But anyway, I'm just AJ. I'm over here just trying to talk, and do my part. Anyway, prayers to everybody, and this is an ongoing investigation. And then, exactly, exactly. He came from a Republican. Oh, what the hell does that have to do with this right now? What does that have to do with this right now? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yes, Brian. Even before his first term, these people weren't worth a shit. And now all of a sudden, because Donald Trump's president, your life is over. No, your life was over the moment you came out the womb. It was ordained that you were never going to amount to anything. It is what it is. Moving on. So, um, listen, I would love to have Kamala Harris's problems right now, for real, for real. This money grab. I mean, her book, her book. I'm pretty sure all the leftists are, ran out to get her book, and Amy. I don't know if going back right quick to the previous story, I don't know if the shooter was trans. We don't know anything yet. We just know that they believe he was in a building adjacent to the ICE facility. That's all we really know. And that 3 people, unfortunately, were hit. So here's the hustle. So I would love to have this woman's problems right now. You know, I get to go on the talkies. I get to be coddled. Nobody's gonna push back. Everybody loves me. Oh, you should have won. And I'm gonna milk this moment, and I'm gonna turn on everybody, the Democrat Party, and she's gotten some pretty good responses from Pete Buttigieg, and from Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. She got some good pushback from members of Biden's staff. The Bidens themselves haven't responded to the stuff that's in her book, and from what I've been told, there's some more, even more salacious stuff in the book. Like I told y'all, I am going to. I will get the book when it gets to the used bookstore. So as soon as I see a copy in the used bookstore, I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna read it. Cool. All right, because I ain't paying for nothing that gives her a credit for a sale. So Kamala Harris appeared on The View yesterday. The oh my God, Kamala, where she dodged questions about who's the actual leader of the Democrat Party, even though nobody asked her, but she offered that information. She brushed off a run for president in 2028 and just said she wanted to focus on her book, and this is why she was here. But of course, everybody wanted to know about the $1 million question that many of us believe helped sink her campaign, and that was when Sunny Halston asked her about if there's anything, if is there any way to distinguish herself from Biden, and here's what she said.
Uh, During your appearance, and you write about it, you say everything about my appearance on The View was going well until it wasn't. And if you recall, you were here 28 days before the election. And I asked you if there was anything you would have done differently than President Biden during the past 4 years. And you said, quote, there is not a thing that comes to mind, end quote. You write you had no idea, you just pulled the pin on a hand grenade. In the moment, I knew. The Trump campaign weaponized your answer against you, my question. And some, including James Carville and Jake Tapper, point to that answer as a turning point in your candidacy. Do you think that moment tipped the election?
No. No.
Good, because
Wait a minute. So you say, I need y'all to. She literally just read a quote from the book. Sunny Hostel just read a quote from the book where she said it was like pulling the pin on a hand grenade, but that didn't tip the election. Wait a minute. Did she hear that? I literally wrote in a grenade. Do you know the damage a grenade does? Okay, then if it wasn't the tipping point, then how you compared it to a grenade? Can't with these people, and nobody pushed back because they're scared of her. They're scared of her, and then they're not going to say, "Well, why would you compare it to a pin being pulled on a grenade if it wasn't the tipping point in your?"
Sonny doesn't want to take the blame.
It wasn't Sonny's fault. Sonny just asked a question. It was up to you to provide a well-to-do answer. But then you notice, I don't know if y'all remember, but she went on Stephen Colbert, I think the next night, and all of a sudden she had an answer, right? There's obviously a distinction between me and Biden, and what else did she say? And then there's a distinction between me and Trump, but I'm obviously not Donald Trump. Oh, now you have an answer. Yeah, because your team scrambled because they knew, and you handed that stupid answer right to the Trump campaign at the time. You handed that stupid answer to the Trump campaign. So, listen, yes, it was the moment that really. I mean, other than the fact that you debated terribly, and I'm so tired. She referenced the debate in here, and if you watch that debate, even just read the transcripts from that one debate her and Trump had, she answered no questions. She didn't answer the questions. Even the stuff she was strong on, like abortion, she couldn't even land that. Like, so explain. Maybe it's something I'm missing. I don't know. Maybe it's me. But if you don't answer questions, and it was all about optics, here's the big bad white man, and then here's this beautiful, strong black queen, a thing, and she ain't gonna answer no questions because she ain't got no answers. And that was one of the things that the some of the former Biden staffers pushed back on in the media recently. It was that, she's not bright. And she was brought into situations for photo ops. And that was pretty much it. She didn't really contribute to the administration the way Biden lied and, ran cover for her, because it was essentially about trying to get a Democrat elected to the presidency. Obviously, you fell short. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But it was an answer that destroyed it. It was like, what was Homeboy with that? Remember when he did that? And I don't know. I to this day I don't know why that was so controversial. Like you getting hyped up in the crowd and you just yelled. Why did that end your campaign? I don't know, but I don't remember the dude's name. But if y'all remember his name, put it in the chat, please. But yo, um, wait, I think yeah. So this wasn't Sonny's issue here. This was Kamala not prepared, and I don't understand how she didn't understand that the Biden administration was not polling well. They were not doing well. That's why they had to push Biden out because the internal polling said you're going to lose this election very badly. And so we're going to have to move on from you because this ain't going to work. But, I'm just AJ.
There was kind of a confessional happening here. No. No.
Solve you?
Exactly. No. There were many.
Great. All right. So, and the prepackaged talking points. I've seen this, and I've seen her on Rachel Maddow, and clearly Kamala never. I mean, she is the queen of the word salad. She will give you the best word salad you've ever had in your life. She will deflect. She will stick to her prepackaged talking points. She will not give you any sidebar personality. She does not vary from the script, which is why Democrats want someone like her to be president because they can control her, right? You're not going to control, like, say, President Jasmine Crockett, God forbid. But if we get a President Jasmine Crockett, she ain't gonna listen to much. That's why they're gonna ensure she never sees a presidential nomination. Anyway, I kind of missed the cackle. Welcome back, Kamala, for a moment while you make your money. But she also went on this whole diatribe about the election and how it was the closest and blah blah blah. Let her tell it.
And by the way, another piece of what is unprecedented and a bit historical about that race, it is the closest presidential race in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Okay, Kamala.
Yeah.
In terms of the outcome.
Wow. Yeah.
What did Brandy say? Almost doesn't count. Almost made you love me. Almost made you cry. Almost made you happy. Didn't I? Didn't I? Could have had me thinking you were turned around, but everybody knows almost doesn't count. I almost won. That's not a brag. That's not something to brag about. I almost won.
Say that again, because he likes to say over and over again he's got a mandate.
There was a mandate. You lost by almost 2 million votes, Kamala. And the popular vote is just a formality. The popular vote is not really moving or swaying anything, right? Hillary Clinton won by, quote, 4 million votes and still lost badly, right? And then you lost by 86 electoral college points. So it was not a very close race. And the only reason why you got that close is because you had the budget and you were able to suppress things like Google because you were able to pay them off so they could push up, suppress any bad information about you and put up all the good stuff. Even at that time when we were all there, The TikTok, don't you start your bullshit. We were all there. If you put Donald Trump's name in Google, who's came up first? Kamala Harris. I'm not looking for her. I'm looking for Donald Trump. Why am I getting all of Kamala's good news? And I'm trying to find something on Donald Trump. But God forbid, you should you should say that out loud. That's misinformation, but we'll get to that in a moment. Kamala, look, You lost. That's like Hillary Clinton reading her remember when Hillary Clinton read her victory address or whatever, and I'm like, this is weird. This is weird. And remember, she ran around for 4 years saying she should have been president. She should have been elected. We're bored. You lost. And you lost badly. You didn't win one swing state, not even close. You didn't win one swing state. You pushed this country further to the right. hmm If we had a President Kamala Harris, God forbid, God knows how Charlie Kirk's death would have been spun, and then God knows how these social media apps would be censoring us, even though TikTok is still a piece of shit. But and we'll get around to that, I guess, once that app is officially sold. But on Rachel Maddow's show the day before, she endorsed the socialist Zorhan Mamdani for mayor of New York.
Folks who you met with in this way include some of the people who you see very frequently now on MSNBC: Jasmine Crockett, Angela Also Brooks, Maxwell Frost, Robert Garcia Moore. Arguably the fastest rising star right now in Democratic politics is Zoran Mamdani, who is going to be elected mayor of New York City, and probably in a landslide if the polls are anything to go by. Lots of mainline Democrats have been very shy about his candidacy. They seem somewhat flummoxed by his success. As a sort of talent spotter in the Democratic Party, what do you think of him and his candidacy? And what do you think of mainline Democratic shyness and agitation about the prospect that he's going to win?
Now, if you really think she's going to answer this question,
Look, as far as I'm concerned, he's the Democratic nominee.
in other words, he's there. I'm just endorsing him because he's a Democrat. But don't get me to sit up here and talk about I like this motherfucker.
Should be supported.
Do you endorse his candidacy?
I support the Democrat.
Do you support the candidacy? I support the Democrat. That's Kamalaism for no. I don't endorse him officially, but because he's the Democrat on the ticket, I'm gonna just play the game because I already burned enough bridges with this damn book of mine.
in the race, sure. But let me just say this: he's not the only star. I know that
Oh God, here we go.
he's in New York, and I know New Yorkers think they're the center.
First of all, don't come for New Yorkers. New York City is the largest city financially, and to put this thing in office is going to be a very interesting dynamic if he wins. I'm just waiting for a debate. I think once his ideas are exposed, that will then bring some people around to understanding that this ain't the choice for you.
The world, and here we are in New York having this interview.
It is the biggest city in the country.
And I love New York, as the saying goes. I really do. But I mean, there are people like Barbara Drummond.
Who? That sounds like an old black woman's name. I bet you she old and black. Let me look up Barbara Drummond. Barbara Drummond. Alabama. Yep. 69 years old. I told you that was an older black woman's name. Barbara Drummond. She looked like a Barbara Drummond. Anyway, moving on.
In Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile.
Helena Moreno.
Who?
In New Orleans.
New Orleans. Didn't they just indict the mayor in New Orleans? Okay.
They're all running for mayor too. And
I'm sorry. New Orleans is great. Alabama and New York not even in the same conversation. And shout out to Alabama. And no disrespect to Alabama. I've been there. It's a very simple state. Very simple people. But we're talking about New York City here. You're talking about economically, washes Alabama with like Alabama's mouthwash to New York. So no, these people aren't rock stars. They're not up to. This is the deflection because there's no clear leader in the Democrat Party, which should technically, on paper, be Hakeem Jeffries. But because Hakeem Jeffries is a DEI hire and clearly has no spine or backbone, he's not an alpha male. He's not a dude that stands up there and the other Democrats take him seriously. That's why Jasmine Crockett is still out here wilding out. You think if Nancy Pelosi was in charge of that Congress, that Jasmine Crockett would be out there wilding out? No. She would have ringed her in quickly. But because no one takes Hakeem Jeffries seriously, they're going to do what they want. And this is what happens when you put up people based on race and not based on the fact that they have the skill set to lead people to do the right thing. Hakeem Jeffries has no spine. Nobody, when your own caucus won't listen to you, you kind of that's pretty much telling. Like that, you're not going to reach beyond that because nobody who sides with you likes you or takes you seriously or listens to you or respects what you have to say. So that's all this is a deflection from.
They are stars. So I hope that we don't so over-index on New York City that we lose.
She swears like what she's saying is so like romantic and pivotal and essential and witty, and it's none of those things, Kamala. Just sell the damn book.
Sight of the stars throughout our country who are right now running for mayor and many other offices, governor, and so on. So that's where I am. We got a big tent.
Yeah, but every big tent needs a leader, right? Like it's clear who is the leader of the Republican Party right now. That's clear, right? There's no ambiguity there, right? Nobody's going to try to step up and buck up, right? I'm in charge of the ship. I'm in charge of the girls. Anyway, I guess I'll check back up tomorrow with the book sales. I didn't go look up the numbers. I'm pretty sure she sold, to all the blue haired and the Fugazis went and bought the book. Yep. Oh, now Rachel Maddow is not going to push back. Rachel Maddow is never going to push back. This is a black woman. I'm a black woman. She's scared of her. She's not going to push back. I mean, even when she answered about the P. Buttigieg thing, Rachel there were plenty of opportunities to push back on her in that because literally when she answered the question about Bootygate, she literally basically said what she literally, her answer was literally what Rachel's concern was. It wasn't, oh, it was something different. No, that's literally what the concern was. That's literally what I told you my concern was. So I don't get it. This doesn't make any sense. You literally just reiterated back to me what my concern is, but no solution. Okay, cool, whatever. Well, look, Pat. These are places she's going to promote her book. Why she needs security because there are psychos. There are psychos on the right. Not as many, but yeah, she still needs security, and clearly she got it. And she don't look like she wants for much, right? That makeup is done well, great suit, great hair. She's all right. Kamala be all right. Anyway, moving on. So, where are we? Oh yeah, we're here. Kimmel's back, allegedly, except on Nexstar and what's the other one? Yeah, except most of Middle America didn't get to see him last night, but nobody cares. There's so many ways for people to consume content these days. So even without that, if you wanted to go see him, you could go on the Disney app or whatever. Anyway, he was back. Of course, he had to center himself. It was all about him. My tears, my trauma, my joy. He thanked Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro and other conservatives who stood up for him and said that he should have a voice, and nobody said you shouldn't. But the main point was what y'all have done to us for the last 20 some years. Words have consequences, right? Even when they're not intended to be malicious. His was intended to be malicious, but Megyn Kelly was just asking a question and lost everything, right? So Roseanne Barr made a joke in a tweet. Well, a woman she thought was white and lost everything, right? Okay, she there was no redemption arc for her. But no, 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 no. The same people applauding those people getting canceled and losing their jobs is shooting up, doing drive-by shootings of ABC affiliates, just to get this untalented comedian back on the air. But I will say this about Jimmy Kimmel: I don't think his calling is comedy. I don't. I think his calling is drama.
I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't.
Did you hear him hit? He hit the cadence perfectly. He hit the. Oh my goodness, this is great dramatic acting. He hit the cadence perfectly. Oh, that was perfect. Oh my goodness. For the murder of a young man, I would never do that.
I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do.
So you ask for compassion, and then you go live next week. Well, even though I don't, why is this show called live and it's pre-taped? But you go live, your show airs, and then you tell that stupid joke, right? Uh-huh. You should have just left it at the condolences and just moved on, right? But no, you couldn't do that. But let's finish. This is a beautiful dramatic performance.
Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual.
Did he hear the joke? Did he hear what he said? This is why I can't stand the left. They can never just take accountability. You know what? I said some messed up stuff that I shouldn't have said. I was insensitive as hell. And I'm sorry. That's it. That's it. But for some reason, that level of accountability does not exist on that side. He thought, I'm comfortable. I'm just going to keep telling these reckless jokes. And let's be clear, by the time the joke comes out of his mouth, that goes through quality control, producer, writer, legal. Everybody saw that joke before it came out of his mouth. So sitting here and acting like, oh, I didn't know. These people do the research for you. These people make sure what is the latest on the story, what is the latest on the shooter. They knew everything, and they still let you go out there and tell that damn joke. Yeah. Yeah. So no, I'm not buying it. But go ahead.
That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make. But I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't. Ever. And also, selfishly, I am a person who gets a lot of threats. I get many ugly and scary threats.
Oh, yes, it's about you and your threats. Everybody in the public eye gets threats. I'm not even a public figure, and I get threats. So threats are not unique to you, right? Nobody cares.
Against my life, my wife, my kids, my coworkers, because of what I choose to say. And I know those threats don't come from the kind of people on the right who I know and love. So that's what I wanted to say on that subject. But I don't want to make this about me because, and I know this is what people say when they make things about them, but I really don't. This show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this.
Wait. Wait. We get to live in a country where we're allowed to have shows like this. Did y'all hear that? No, did y'all hear that? Oh, okay. The same people in that audience applauding, many of whom were probably paid to be there, because I used to do audience work when I lived in LA, and a lot of these shows they pay people to sit in the audience. Um, so these same mongrels in the audience applauding free speech did this to our sitting president when he was a sitting president. Remember this? Remember this? Remember that? Remember that? He was shut down across all social media platforms. It was so bad he had to go create his own platform. Y'all remember that? Remember that? Remember when? Oh, okay. So I don't care. It's called Fire with Fire, right? But you know what's also very interesting about the FEC and the FCC and all this and the government and all of this stuff getting involved? Here's Megyn Kelly breaking down how the government gets involved with censoring conservative content intentionally, and sometimes our congressional reps are involved. Take it.
This is an interesting list. So Carr was at an event yesterday and was asked about all this before we had the news that they were bringing Kimmel back. And he went into a list of what the FCC has been doing under Joe Biden and in recent years. And I'm just going to tick off a couple of things he said. In 2018, a dozen Democrat senators, including Cantwell, Markey, Blumenthal, Sanders, and Wyden, wrote the FCC and called on the agency to investigate Sinclair for a newsroom decision and to take action up to and including license revocation. So
now, the same people screaming free speech for Jimmy Kimmel, were you mad when Democrats did that? No, you weren't. You probably didn't even know it happened. And if you did, you didn't care because it worked in your favor, right? See how that worked? Okay, go.
So you've got a dozen Democratic senators under the Trump administration time writing the FCC and demanding them to investigate Sinclair for its editorial bent, okay, and which was conservative. I remember this. No problem. The left had no problem whatsoever with Democrats pressuring the FCC to pressure Sinclair into stopping its program.
This is so frustrating because these people are the biggest hypocrites, right? They're hypocrites. They will literally sit there and cry injustice. People have the right to say what they want to say. Meanwhile, when you had literally a sitting president who was a Republican and you had conservatives making content, you had members of Congress actively going after them. Interesting.
Choices. During the Biden years, Democrats at the FCC took the unprecedented step of not renewing dozens of routine Sinclair license renewals. They stopped them from getting their license, which means they cannot broadcast. Okay, no problem. Wow. Democrats, all these same people preaching free speech, loved it. They were totally in support. Yep. In 2023, the FCC determined it would be in the public interest to move forward with a petition that sought to revoke a local Fox broadcast TV station's license because of content that aired on Fox News, a cable channel.
You can't even, you're not allowed to go after cable channels or social media, any of those things. But they're Democrats. Let them do it. They're Democrats. You know, they're for the people. They're trying to stop the hateful MAGA and hateful conservatives from talking, you know. So this is a good thing.
Which the FCC does not regulate. They don't regulate social media. They don't regulate any cable channels. They only regulate broadcast. And they determined, FCC, in 2023 under Biden, it would be in the public interest to move forward with a petition seeking to revoke a local Fox broadcast TV station's license because of content on Fox News.
Oh, she's not done. She's not done. We're about halfway through. So I don't want to hear shit about free speech, First Amendment, all that dumb shit that comes out. I don't want to hear. I don't care. I went down on TikTok yesterday for talking about vaccinations. We still on that bullshit? Oh, okay. Yeah. So when you literally have elected officials going after affiliates and telling them not to renew their licenses, so now they can't make their bread, they can't make their money, they can't get the sponsorships, they can't air their shows because you don't like one program or one segment or whatever.
In 2021, Democrats in Congress launched a campaign to pressure cable companies to drop Fox, to drop Newsmax,
I remember that.
to drop OAN on the grounds that they were, quote, right wing. That's Democrats in Congress trying to pressure cable companies to drop Fox, OAN, and Newsmax from their lineups. And it worked. Cable companies did drop some of them. 2 Democratic members of Congress sent letters to DirecTV. This is my own research, and other providers questioning their carriage of channels that spread misinformation, including OAN. DirecTV dropped OAN and Newsmax in response.
I remember that. I remember that. So we don't give a fuck about your Jimmy Kimmel. You don't watch the show anyway. You didn't watch it before. You only watched yesterday because he returned. You're not going to watch it next week. You probably got the Disney Plus like free subscription for a week just so you could watch that episode, and then you're going to cancel the subscription. So it doesn't even matter at this point. You fucking hypocrites. That's what you are. You're hypocrites. It's all right when it works in your favor, but when it doesn't, oh, no, we got to stop that person. We got to stop them.
Democratic members of Congress sent letters to DirecTV urging them to drop OAN and Newsmax, and they did it. This is the same side now grasping its pearls about any Democratic interference in programming decisions. In 2021, Democratic lawmakers pressured the FCC to block the sale of a Spanish language radio station in South Florida to what they viewed as a conservative buyer, arguing that doing so would matter to their odds in the 2022 midterms.
Oh, no. If a Republican did that, that would have been what? Election interference, right? Oh, it's election interference. People have the right to hear all sides. Yeah. So when you see how frustrated I get sometimes, this is why. This is why. Because you will gaslight us with no knowledge of what's actually going on. That, oh, we're making this up. This is in our head. This has nothing to do with the bigger picture. It has everything to do with the bigger picture. Everything. Y'all bitching about gerrymandering, but was not bitching when 8 states, Democrat states, gerrymandered so that the 2021 midterms would look the way Democrats want it. Nobody bitched and moaned, but y'all mad about Texas, which in fact, Texas is not even the Republicans' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. But y'all so stupid, y'all didn't even go look that up either. Democrats sued, and they got what they wanted, complaining that there wasn't enough representation. So the redistricting map that y'all got is what y'all sued for. Go ahead, Megan. We got a little bit more.
The sale did not go through. This is Dems pressuring the FCC to act in a way that was beneficial to them, and indeed they got their way. During the Biden years, Democrats inside the administration engaged in a multi-month campaign to pressure social media companies into censoring political speech. In too many cases,
it worked. How many people lost Facebook accounts? Well, Twitter accounts, TikTok accounts. Yeah. How many people lost YouTube channels? A lot of people, because you didn't like what they were saying. So again, I don't give a damn about a millionaire losing his job. Like I said in the original report on Jimmy Kimmel, all I care about is the staff, because the staff on that show, most of them, they're not balling out. You know, they're living paycheck to paycheck or just getting by, and this is their job, right? That they've devoted their time and talent to. So that's all I care about in this. You know, I don't know. I didn't see his whole monologue. I don't know if he thanked his staff and told it, apologized to his staff on the air. Probably didn't, because this man is very self-centered. So who cares?
all know that's true. And in 2021, a Democrat prosecutor in Baltimore filed a formal complaint asking the FCC to censor a broadcast TV station's newsroom for their coverage of her allegedly unlawful conduct. This is all Democrats exerting government influence to get programming the way they want it, either through the FCC or directly on cable companies or other broadcasters. They have zero problem with involving the government in censoring speech, including the FCC. The only thing that changed here under Brendan Carr was he actually try to use it for Republicans.
Right.
And
And he wasn't even threatening. He just said, we could do this the easy way or we could do this the hard way. That's all he said. You know, that was it. You could oblige or you could not oblige. But when Republicans do it, and either, let's be clear. I don't think it should be done either way. But here's the thing, this is the world we live in, right? So when y'all have abused and abused and abused and abused and abused, and then you sit here and tell me that there's no problem, that I'm making it up, that this is a right-wing conspiracy, and the proof is right there in your face, it slapped you in the ass clear as monkey shit. And yeah, you making that up. That's right. That's QAnon. That's right-wing conspiracy theory. You must have heard that on Newsmax. No. But there you have it. I don't know how long Sinclair and Nexstar are going to hold out on not airing the show. I'm pretty sure they're not losing any sleep over it, but I think their main goal is not to be one-sided. It's just to make sure we get to a place of civility again, where we can actually just have the conversation, because a lot of people don't want to have the conversation. Let's be clear, right? A lot of people just want to feel. A lot of people just want to react. Hence why they're shooting up places. Hence why they're firebombing places. I mean, these people were literally destroying Teslas. Teslas was a liberal thing. Liberals drive Teslas for the most part. And you are attacking your own people. Like, the average American can just turn in their car and go get another car. Oh, Jesus. Goat cheese and bread. All right. Moving on. I mean, and then these idiots probably still won't get the frustration. They'll still say, "Oh, well, it wasn't that bad." No, it was very bad. It was terrible. Anyway, speaking of censorship, this is the news we've all been waiting for, and this would have never happened under a President Kamala Harris. Never. It would have never happened, because Kamala would have been busy trying to chokehold all of us, making sure the right narrative gets spun, the whole Nazi stuff that they accuse us of, which they are actually doing, right? And we just literally prove to you in real time, Yeah. Okay, cool. Anyway, wait, that's the wrong story. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's what I got to do. So this mongrel, hold up, wait a minute. There's a glitch with this software because we can't use multiple screen shares, which is so odd to me. But whatever, we're gonna do it now. YouTube will reinstate accounts banned for spreading, quote, and I put that in quote, misinformation. YouTube will allow creators whose accounts were terminated for repeated violations of COVID-19 and election integrity policies to rejoin the platform, according to a letter that YouTube parent company Alphabet sent to Rep. Jim Jordan on Tuesday. Quote, reflecting the company's commitment to free expression, YouTube will provide an opportunity for all creators to rejoin the platform if the company terminated their channels for repeated violations of COVID-19 and election integrity policies that are no longer in effect. Does that come with retro pay? Does that come with retro? We got to negotiate some things. And then what happens going forward when y'all don't like what I say? I'm going to take that risk again. Anyway, Alphabet's legal counsel, Daniel F. Donovan, wrote, quote, YouTube values conservative voices on its platform and recognizes that these creators have extensive reach and play an important role in civil discourse, end quote. That sentence would have never came out of this dude's mouth or in a statement if Kamala Harris was president. And we know that, and you know that. Anyway, the letter was a response to a subpoena from Rep. Jim Jordan, who sought to investigate if the Biden-Harris administration had coerced or colluded with companies like Alphabet to censor speech. At the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, many platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter enacted policies to ban the spread of medical misinformation about the virus and vaccines. And why isn't TikTok needs to get rid of that stupid policy? but once we're no longer under the rule of the Chinaman, I guess we will. For example, YouTube disallowed content saying that vaccines can cause cancer, a false claim which is not supported by scientific research. Now we care about science. Anyway, later platforms also took action against content falsely claiming that the 2020 U.S. presidential election was, quote, stolen from Donald Trump. Twitter, not yet bought and rebranded by Elon Musk, said that it suspended 70,000 accounts for sharing QAnon conspiracy content and inciting violence in the week after the January 6th riots. It was riots. I thought it was one riot. Um, but anyway, leading up to the presidential election in 2024, online platforms began loosening their policies around misinformation because they knew Donald Trump was about to get reelected. That's why they did that on YouTube. This included reinstating President Donald Trump, whose account had been banned. Yeah, free speech, right? Free speech, free speech. He didn't incite any violence. He didn't incite any violence. You know, y'all incited the violence when you gaslit people, when people are saying, hey, there are problems. Hey, there's a problem here. And y'all saying, oh, stop it. Joe Biden won 81 million votes. Woo. And people are saying, wait, there are problems. Look, there's an SD card being passed to somebody here. Nobody's going to look into that. They said a pipe broke in the Georgia voting facility, and then it ended up not being true. Oh, we don't like that. Censored. Get rid of you. Anyway, now according to the company's letter to Rep. Jim Jordan, all creators whose accounts were censored by these policies will be allowed back on the platform. Quote, wow, the reliance on health authorities in this context was well-intentioned. The company recognizes it should have never come at the expense of public debate on these issues. YouTube did not respond to TechCrunch's request for comment. This is complete bullshit. It should have never happened. Should have never happened. But this is what happens when the, quote, communists are in charge. That's the real control. Those are the people who really want to silence people. You don't think like me. You don't vote like me. You don't act like me. You don't do what I like you to do. So therefore, I want you silenced. That is y'all side. That's y'all side. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Republicans, right wingers. Well, the right wingers are a little crazy. They're over there. We'll keep the right wingers over there. But conservatives, Republicans, most of MAGA for the most part, which MAGA has now become this big umbrella that encompasses Democrats, independents, libertarians, everybody, right? So nobody cares, right? So when we're telling you there's a problem next time, maybe you'll listen to us. You probably won't, because it won't work in your favor. But this is some bullshit. And I think all of these accounts, y'all need to retroactively pay these people. You won't, but I think you should. That would be the good thing to do. These people lost thousands, some hundreds of thousands, some millions of dollars being censored. Because Democrats didn't want to have the discourse, because they never do, because they know their ideas don't hold weight. They know that. They know their ideas are trash. They know it's emotion based. It's not fact based. It's not based on peer review. You know, and speaking of peer reviews, you see these dumb pregnant women taking Tylenol because Robert Kennedy said there's an actual peer review, Harvard reviewed study. There's a Harvard study that's literally linking acetaminophen to autism, and these dummies are taking the very thing that they're being cautioned not to do. I could say some really reckless stuff right now, but may the child be born healthy, and that's it, because I ain't got nothing else to say after that. All right. Congratulations to all the creators who are getting their accounts back. Congratulations to I don't even know if is it a congratulations? I mean, you've been censored, you've been robbed of money. That includes like Fresh and Fit, Dan Bongino. Candace Owens was demonetized for a moment. I don't know if she is. I think she's monetized again because she's milking this Charlie Kirk situation. So creators like that, right? Now the whack jobs. Listen, you got a right to be a whack job, but just got to come with a disclaimer of some sort, right? You know, there's a lot of conspiracy theories in this, you know, and it is what it is. But anyway, we will be right back.
It's always lit over at AJsRANTroom.com. We got the best bags and accessories, our beloved Black Series. We got fresh lids for you hat lovers, fire jackets and hoodies, and of course we got you covered on the t-shirts. And introducing our first shoe line, Aloysius Germain. So get on over to AJsRANTroom.com today and get to shopping. You won't be disappointed.
All right. On to the main course, and this mongrel to my left, maybe you're right, I don't know. This animal, remember, we don't use names of animals, but this animal, who has a long rap sheet, by the way, I forgot to add his rap sheet to my notes. Hold on, let me pull it up. What's this animal's name? Okay, yeah, that's his name. All right, so hold up. Let's do a quick little search right here. And boom. And criminal past. Because this mongrel, who should have never been in a free society, attempted to take out Trump. And for those who don't remember what happened last September, I believe, for those who don't remember the original story and how this animal got caught, take a look.
First at 6, for the first time, we hear the frantic police radio calls from the Secret Service agent who says he spotted Ryan Ruth with a rifle hiding in the bushes at President Trump's West Palm Beach golf course.
Shots fired. Individual in the bush with a gun.
Ruth now on trial for the attempted assassination of Donald Trump last September, when Trump was still a candidate seeking to retake the White House. Good evening. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Todd McDermott.
And I'm Felicia Rodriguez. Investigative reporter Terry Parker has been at the courthouse since the trial began last Monday. And Terry, jurors heard these calls right off the bat, but we were able to obtain them today.
Jurors heard these Secret Service calls from the very first government witness. This was a special agent who testified he came face to face with Ryan Ruth in the bushes, and he was looking straight down the barrel of an AK-47. That special agent, Robert Fricano, said when he saw Ruth in the bushes next to the 6-hole, he said, "How are you doing, sir?" But that Ruth just smiled and tracked his movements with that rifle. And that's when Fricano fired. Listen.
Shots fired. Individual in the bush with a gun. He pushed forward on the tree line. The individual was inside that tree line. All units be advised, it looked like an AK-47 style assault rifle pointed through the fence onto the golf course. Individual has not gained entry to the golf course. He's on the exterior of the compound. CS unit that just made contact with the site. If you see my golf cart, it was to the south of my golf cart, right off near the back seat. That's where the last known location I had of the individual.
Ruth escaped but was captured a short time later on I-95 in Martin County. The government brought several more FBI experts to the stand today. One testified that he was able to extract text messages from several of Ruth's cell phones, one saying, "I hate Donald Trump. He's an idiot. He should be canceled." Testimony continues with the government planning to...
All right, so the mongrel was found guilty. As he should have been. And you know what I don't understand? Maybe I'm just wired differently. But if my father or my mother or anybody in my life did something like this, I'm not there. And have a good one. Whatever the state, whatever the feds want to do with you, have a good one. You're stupid. I don't care how you feel about somebody. You don't have to like a political candidate. You don't have to vote for somebody. I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I don't want any harm to come to her. I don't get it. Fight the argument with your words. Fight the argument in policy. Come up with the best solutions for problems that the American people are putting out there. But no. My answer to this is to take your life. And now I've destroyed my life because I'm an idiot. So I don't care. But here's his dumb daughter having a tantrum after he was found guilty on all counts.
Okay.
It was there just now.
Not only crying as she left, obviously, she went into a full sprint to get away from the media and yelled out some profanities, John.
Yeah, well, clearly she's upset. I mean,
well, clearly she's upset. No shit. Oh god! And he raised animals. He raised animals. He's an animal. He raised animals. I'm. What am I having such a strong emotional reaction for? You tried to kill a former, at the time, former sitting president. I don't care. I'm not giving you this amount of emotion. You made a really dumb decision. A really dumb decision. And this is the consequence for that. I'll put some money on your books. I mean, I don't know what you want me to do.
you know, to Jim Trustee's point, she's likely been talking to her dad.
Yes, I don't care. I'm laughing at these people because I think these people are stupid. And the father's dumb, the daughter's dumb, the son is dumb. They're all dumb. And I don't care. I have no empathy for anybody who does these things. I'm very clear. I have none. None. You could have your gripes, you could have your differences, you could have your beefs, you could take shit personal, but the one thing you don't get to do is kill people. The fuck out of here. So when the dummy was read the verdict, when the verdict was read to him, the dummy, the dummy, he tried to stab himself in the neck.
The verdict was read. Now, it's quite shocking. As the verdict was read, it appeared to our producers inside the courtroom that Ruth tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen. That's what it appeared to look like. Then 4 marshals dragged him out of the courtroom, took his coat off. They then shackled him at the waist and ankles, and then they brought him back into the courtroom. So again, this just in from our producers. As the verdict was being read, Ruth tried to hurt himself in the neck with a pen. Now, we just saw that emotional reaction from that daughter, and now we know exactly why. So when Ruth was brought back into the courtroom, that's when her daughter stood up, started yelling and screaming. She said to her father, "Don't do anything. I'm going to get you out of here." This is what our producers are telling us just into the newsroom. She also screamed many expletives, and that's when we saw her run out of the courtroom. The video that we were seeing just moments ago of her not wanting to speak with the media, her evading the media.
Look at the arms. Look at the arms.
And then running off.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. I don't care. Now, the question I always ask when these idiots do these things, was it worth it? Was it worth it? The same thing I asked of Charlie Kirk's assassin, the same thing I asked of the dummy who got blown away when he almost succeeded at assassinating then candidate Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. Was it worth it? Well, you'll never be able to answer that because you're dead, nigga. And then to this dummy, was it worth it? Was it worth it? Okay. I mean, if you think throwing your life away to because you couldn't handle the possibility of him being reelected president, then you shouldn't be in a civil and free and fair society. You should be locked up like an animal. That's where you should be. And I think he's on suicide watch. Tony, I don't know. I don't care. He, honestly, why put him on watch? Let him do it. Less money for us to spend as taxpayers. Anyway, here's the car leaving and the 2 dumb kids trying to figure out which car the animal is in.
And
Excuse
not
me,
only
Secretary, I believe this, we're just watching. These vehicles are starting to pull out, and I just want to let our viewers know. This is the daughter and son of Ryan Ruth as they are scanning these.
There's no fucking way I would be standing out there looking for this motherfucker. Which car is it? What are you gonna do? Jump on the car? Like what?
These cars, trying to see which one holds their father, and very sad. I mean, obviously, she's trying to get a moment.
Very sad. Oh my gosh. Listen, I understand loving your parent, but nah. I will yeah. No. I'm not standing out there.
Him, the police pulling her away from that vehicle, the son waving as he goes by. You know, this is a family tragedy, a conviction to be.
Family tragedy. Is Fox News serious right now? Is Fox News serious right now? This is a family tragedy. She said, a tragedy for who? This man was so out of his mind that he thought he could go to Donald Trump's golf course and try to kill him. And the tragedy is his family? Fuck out of here.
Sure, but really ripped apart this family and.
I don't care. Rip it apart. Bad choices, that's what happens. When you kill people, that's what or attempt to, that's what happens. Now you threw your whole life away. You're gonna be touching your kids through glass. You're never gonna be able to physically touch them again. Oh well. But the fact that this mofo just said family tragedy, she should be brought into HR today.
Obviously, tremendous stress on the Trump family as well.
Oh, footnote. Yeah. I know my dad was just golfing and almost got his head blown off again. But yeah, stress on the Trump family. Yeah. Okay.
Secretary.
We're still live. Well, this should remind every family to go out and to take care of their family members before it comes to this.
I say that all the time, but look, people got things to do, People got things to do. So your mental health is ultimately your responsibility. People are busy. People got their own problems that they're trying to solve. They got their own issues that they're absorbed with. They can't make 24 hours a day to go consult you and massage you. They can offer help where they can, and that's it. But no. We're not playing that game today.
Type of action that is taken before this type of consequences is implemented. Everybody go out there and have conversations with your family, watch over their mental health.
Is this Fox News? Who hired these people? They must be filibustering and just didn't have anything to say.
Watch over their heart, bring them back to their faith, and be proactive in people's lives rather than sitting back and waiting for them to be radicalized until they commit acts of violence like this.
She walked like a... Let me shut up. All right. I'm sorry. I really tried to find the empathy, but I don't have it. And I don't apologize. What the fuck am I apologize? I have no empathy. Being censored, beat down, fucking with people's money and livelihoods. People work hard and they make great investments to do these things. You think this studio equipment shows up for free? No, motherfucker. It has to be paid for. You think the time you spend researching, developing ideas, editing, writing, you think all of that, you think it just falls out of the sky? No, that's an investment in your future. And then could you imagine you open the app one day thinking, okay, I'm gonna go post this great video and your whole account is gone? It's gone because some blue-haired, yellow-haired bitch couldn't handle an opinion that didn't affirm their worldview. Could you imagine that? Yeah. So I don't care. I don't care. Your life is ruined. You ruined your family's life. I don't care. Fuck all of them. I'm done. I ain't got no more. I'm more, like Lil Kim says, stand behind Martin Luther King, but I'm more like out Malcolm X. Listen, I stand behind Charlie Kirk, but I'm more like Donald Trump. I hate y'all. And I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it. Because this is totally avoidable shit. Totally avoidable. Totally avoidable. This is not some stuff that, it just got so much. Well, if it gets too much, go get help. Go therapy. All of these resources. And now you have access to even more resources because we now have a whole online community of people. All you got to do is type, I need help, and I'm sure somebody will step up and talk to you. Hell, you got a whole suicide prevention hotline that you can not only call if you're feeling suicidal, you could also call if you're stressed out, and they can plug you into other resources. I don't want to hear it. There's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it in 2025. You woke up that day. This is not something you just came up with that morning. You planned it. So you mean to tell me from the moment you planned it to the moment you were about to kill a former sitting president, you never once said, yeah, I shouldn't do this. This is going to mess up my life, my family's life. This is going to mess up everybody around me. Maybe I shouldn't make this stupid decision. That's the problem. So I don't care. I don't care. He's going to get life in prison, and I don't care. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Anyway, that's our show for today. I appreciate y'all so much for watching. If you would like to support the channel, you can head on over to AJsRANTroom.com. That's AJsRANTroom.com. You can get this felon hat there. You got hoodies and sweatpants, and it's gray sweatpants season, so go grab you some gray sweats. We got political stuff, we have non-political stuff, inspirational stuff, gym bags, duffel bags, backpacks, whatever. We got a lot of stuff, all custom designed by yours truly. So ain't no foo-la-la going on. AJ designed it. AJ did the work. Anyway, thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Did I mention like, share, comment, and subscribe? And we're building a little community over here on YouTube. Shout out to everybody on TikTok. Shout out to everybody on X and all the other places, Twitch. I don't think we went up on Instagram because Instagram's a little weird. But thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. And I will catch y'all tomorrow.